Welcome, guys, to another episode of the... fuck. Welcome, guys... Shit. Welcome, guys, to another... Welcome, guys, to another episode of the LevelXPodcast. My name is Jesus. Next to me right here, I have...
David.
And David, you haven't showered yet. You smell like crap, man. But regardless, we are doing this episode live for you guys on this very fine Thursday morning. And to get started, guys, you know what it is. It's a Level X podcast where we're going to be discussing nothing but the latest and greatest. And today's episode is sponsored by Instant Web Celeb. Instant Web Celeb has been assisting to revolutionize the online social world and has helped countless customers rank higher in status and fame across multiple platforms. Optimize and market your social media page today with Instant Web Celeb. You can follow them on their Instagram page. Go check out their Facebook page and go check out their website, instantwebceleb.com. And David, do you have a special announcement?
I don't. I'm just playing. Yeah, man. I just want to say thanks a lot to the sponsors of the show for supporting the show. And also, guys, just to say thanks to you guys, we did set up a special promo code for Instant Web Celeb. So if you are looking for the best of the best, our promo code is LevelX. That is LVLX. So when you're checking out, just put that in the promo code LVLX, and you're gonna give that 15%.
Promo code LVLX, guys,
And you'll get a special treat.
All right, guys. So to get right into it, if you're new to the show, we are just going to be discussing the books that we read in the past week. So let's just get into it, man. David, what book did you read in the past week?
Well, this past week has been very interesting.
What does that mean? Does that mean you just didn't?
That means I didn't fucking finish my book. That's what it means. So if you guys know, last week I did say that I was reading a book, and that book was Thinking Strategically. Now, that book is like a little bit close to 500 pages. But mind you, this week was finals week, and since I am a CIS major, I do have to program a lot.
Well, that's impressive,
nowadays.
Man, that you even made it out alive. Some people don't make it out of the finals week, man.
Yeah, man.
Some people just drop off the face of the earth.
And I was on Reddit and shit this like last week, this week, and I already seen probably like 3 counts on the ASU Reddit page.
A suicide.
No, people fucking either getting caught for plagiarism.
Oh shit.
Even today, like there was this kid that says that he missed his finals. So and he's supposed to be graduating in May. Well, this month.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be graduating, but since he missed his final, he's basically already failing that class.
So he's gonna have to obviously retake that sometime in the summer and the next fall.
Yeah, it's looking like he might not graduate this month.
Yeah, man. Finals are brutal. They're just back-to-back days filled with nothing but tests, especially if you have like one of those 5-class, 6-class schedules. It's not a pretty sight, man. I think you can almost describe it as when Obama first entered office to where he is now, and the level of stress that these college kids go through. And what I go through, man, I'm over here like about to have a mental breakdown.
But not only that, but also those fucking classes where you're on the level.
Oh, you're on the verge,
on the verge of either getting the other next level grade or staying in that same level of grade.
Yeah, man. Especially like I mean, you were telling me how some kids and like overall they missed their A's by like 1 point or something like that. So man, finals has a lot to do with how your grade will come out. And I know a couple of my classes where I'm also on the brink of a C or a B, and I really want that B, man. So I've been over here just studying nonstop. It's horrible, but pretty much that's your excuse for not finishing the book.
It's not an excuse. It's reality, man.
Well, anyways.
Reality, basically,
what can you tell us, man? What have you learned in the past week from the book that you haven't finished?
I'm actually now halfway done with the book, so thank God. Thank Jesus. Nah, man. So basically, the main topic that I've been reading, out of all the topics that I've been reading so far, I think this topic that I'm currently in is the most interesting. And the reason why is because it correlates exactly to, I don't know if you ever read The Art of War.
You told me about it, yeah.
Yeah, so basically, great book. If you guys haven't read that book, definitely cop it. But basically, it talks about being credible. Because I think it gives, like I said in the last week's episode. If you guys haven't checked out that episode, go check it out. It'll give you a rundown of what the book is about. But basically, this chapter is about credibility. So it's saying that whenever you're making any type of move, you have to be a credible source. So your opponent or whoever you're making a deal with can be assured that you're definitely going to do what you're saying. Because a great quote that it talks about is that it says, a verbal contract isn't worth the paper it's written on. So I can, tell you, hey, I'm going to pay you $20.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, next week, I'm like, all right, well, here's $10. And then you're like, hey, well, you said 20. I'm like, yeah, but, like, and then I tell you, well, this $10 can buy you, like, 5 times more than what I just said. Basically, than the word.
Oh, right.
So it's like actual real life shit or me just saying it in words.
Yeah.
It's not actually real.
Right.
Then it jumps into basically being, and then it jumps into commitment. And I think this is the thing that I was talking to you about. Basically, commitment in that aspect is that how do you get someone to stay committed to a certain task? And I think this jumps not only into like a strategy game, but more into like real life shit. So how do you stay committed to either like improving yourself or going to the gym all the time? Or how do you stay committed into, I don't know, putting effort into your relationship or staying in a relationship? And basically the way it talks about it, it breaks it down into different types of strategies that you can do to keep either your team or yourself committed. I know like one of the examples was doing a contract per se. Like if you set up some type of contract, let's just say with your opponent of some sort that you're going to be doing something, that kind of gives you an incentive to actually fulfill that contract, and then you're going to basically get screwed over.
Yeah.
Another big key, and I think this example gets brought up all the time. It brings up the example, I forgot the damn name of the leader, but how he goes into war and he burns his ships down.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, so I brought up that. Now, mind you, this book is from the 1990s, so it's cool how even then they're still saying shit that the newer books are saying now.
Well, and that's the thing. I read that in a 1930s book.
Oh, really?
I read that in Think and Grow Rich, and that was like in the 1940s, 1930s, I believe. So that story is actually way older.
Yeah, it's like a prime example.
Yeah.
Now, I brought up that way, and it also brought up why are also soldiers so committed to their because if you think about it, and if an average human being, or I would say average, will go into war, they would know that they don't want to go to war because they don't want to die. Right.
Yeah.
Like the pros do not outweigh the cons, so they're like, yeah, I'd rather not die, so I don't want to fight.
Yeah.
But then I guess back in the olden days, I think the Romans actually did this. When they will go to war, they will make it a crime to retreat back. So let's say you're in the front lines, and if you retreat back, then you're basically gonna get killed too. But not only that, but what made it even crazier is that if you see someone retreating back, you have to kill them.
No shit.
And if you don't kill them, they kill you.
Jesus. So it's all about that accountability, I guess.
Yeah, and that way you can stay kind of like, all right, committed to a certain task. So it's bringing up how nowadays in the army, once you go to a boot camp or whatever, that they train you nonstop. They fucking humiliate you. They fucking do crazy shit to you mentally and physically. So by the end, like even after a week's time, they say that basically your entire personality and mentality has changed to be kind of like that of a machine, that you just follow orders and you don't even question it.
I don't know if this is accurate, but isn't there also something in place as well in today's time where you're not supposed to like abandon your men or something like that, or you're supposed to always?
I think what it brought up, I'm not sure if it still follows today or if it actually was just like an exaggerated example.
Yeah.
But it does say that if you're in war and you're in the front lines and you kind of like retreat back, that they kind of consider you a deserter.
Yeah, that's right.
So they leave you there. They can't bring you back.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Some deserter. I don't know. That's from another fiction book that I read like years back. Remember that book? Damn, I already forgot. Those two brothers in war and shit like that.
Private Peaceful.
Private Peaceful. I mean, it's a fiction book, but I mean, it was grounded in reality, so maybe it is accurate. I don't know, but one of the brothers they were like they were both in war, but one of the brothers, he saw that they were gonna kill him if he wanted to go fight because his group was so small, and then the enemy, of course, they had a large army. So he's like, oh, I'd rather just save my group. But they like called them coward or something like that, and they decided to execute him. Maybe that's an extreme example and it's totally false, but I don't know. It sounded legit, I guess, at the time.
Yeah, well, that's this book actually brought up like something like that, and now so it just makes you think as to, well, that kind of, I think, transcends into like real life. If you want to stay committed to a certain thing, sometimes you're like, all right, well, if I don't do this, this is the punishment for me. So it talks about, setting up punishments and consequences as well as rewards. So that kind of jumps into like, for you, what helps you stay committed to a certain task, or something that you kind of can give to the audience or the listeners that you do.
Well, me personally, when I'm trying to stay committed, I kind of try to do two things. They don't always like work necessarily, but one of the things I try to do is just look at the bigger picture, because I don't do tasks aimlessly. There's always a reason, and that reason usually correlates to where I want to get to in life. So I have my own goals, and so I always try to think of those goals as like I'm trying to get to a place, and let's say, for example, I'm being lazy. I got to remind myself, oh, well, is this laziness going to get me to where I want to be in life? And obviously the answer is always no. So I try to always keep that in the back of my mind, that I'm trying to get to this certain place, and I obviously have to make certain moves to get there. And those moves have to consist of me being productive. The second thing I do is, I was going to say immediate reward, but that might be the wrong word, because there's negative connotation attached to being rewarded immediately.
Like, I mean, instant gratification.
Yeah, instant gratification. But I use it in the term where instant gratification for me isn't like everyone else. I don't use it like for enjoyment. I use it for more. I write down my list of like goals I try to hit every day. So instant gratification for me is actually hitting those goals.
Now,
so I find that like enjoyable.
Now, before you continue more into it, or if you're done, you did say you write down your list. Like, can you elaborate more on that?
Yeah,
or what's the importance of, or why do you write that?
Well, before I started writing down my list, I was always like, my mind was cluttered with all these things that I wanted to do every single day. And so moment by moment, every day, I would just like waste time thinking, oh man, I try to remind myself what I had to do that day. So it was very inefficient and non-productive. So I started writing down what I had to do every single day. And then I read this book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and they also mentioned how setting down goals, weekly goals, for me it's daily goals, but weekly goals work as well, really helps you be more productive and really helps to keep you on track of what you have to be doing every single day. So I write down my goals just to make sure that I stay productive every single day. You usually consist of 7 things, so I try to knock them down one after another, so that it really helps me keep on track. And like I said, every time I knock down one of those goals, I get a sense of gratification. I find it it's like a high for me.
So how long have you been doing this and have you already seen some type of like reward from from doing your list compared to like when you didn't have your list?
Hell yeah, man. I mean, I've been doing this for like, I want to say 5 months now, maybe more. And then I actually looked back at my list from when I first started, and I was writing down some stupid ass goals like make sure to watch 1 movie a day or some bullshit like that. I don't know. It was really stupid. But now, if you look at my list now, it's more like read for an hour, make this amount of money in one day.
Yeah. Well, like I said, when I kind of gave the summary of Gorilla Mindset is that, and even I think I saw it somewhere yesterday on my Twitter. Is like, like in the first try, you're gonna basically do shit.
Yeah.
Like your product is going to be shit, but as long as you're actually doing it, eventually it will improve in quality. So even though for the listeners as well as you, even though, you're like, well, I don't think that'll work, or if you're a little skeptical, or maybe your lists are shit.
Yeah.
The fact that you're actually doing it, I think that, that's a big improvement if you weren't doing it before, because I do that as well. And it's dope just seeing like how much you can actually get done and how productive you can be by actually setting goals daily.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't hit all my goals every day because I still need to work on my goal setting. I sometimes set my bar too high as to where I stack too many things in one day, so I don't obviously accomplish everything because it would take way too much time. And I've also found that also if you set too many things in one day, you're not going to be super productive in all of them. So it's really important to not overload yourself, but at the same time, don't go easy as well. Like I probably set too many things for one day, but I try to accomplish most of them. Most of the time, if I set 7 goals, I accomplish at least 5, if not 6. Like I said, I never really accomplish all of them, but accomplishing 5 and 6 has helped me get so much further than I would have been without that list. So as far as commitments go, writing down a list like the night before for the next day really helps you to achieve the goals you want to achieve, man.
Definitely, man. But that kind of wraps up my little segment. I will finish this book by next week. And then from there, we are going to be reading a special book together. But Jesus, what are your what have you been reading, and what can you tell us about the book?
Well, I've been reading Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell.
Woo!
Malcolm Gladwell is probably one of the better known modern authors. I actually was introduced to him by one of my friends and one of my classmates actually, and he told me about him. I didn't really feel interested in reading about Malcolm because he felt like more like a social movement kind of guy. At least from his name, I don't know. Malcolm Gladwell kind of sounded like Malcolm X.
What?
So I was like, oh.
So you're basically judging some guy by his name.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I made that correlation, but I was like, Malcolm Gladwell sounds like one of those social, movement kind of guys that he's trying to like.
I think what people call them are SJWs.
What is that?
Like social justice warriors.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's kind of how it sounds. So I was like, I'm not really interested. But I don't know. Somehow I found him in like one of my reading lists, and I was like, well, I might as well read him since David over here slacking it with his book.
I'm not slacking, man. I'm just soaking up the knowledge.
So Malcolm Gladwell, Outliers. I actually didn't finish this book either. It's like close to 500 pages. I'm like at page 400, I think. I don't have long to go, guys.
And it's an easy as read, so it's not even 500.
It wasn't easy. Well, it was easy. It was very enjoyable, but like you said, man, finals week, and I was like spending hours upon hours on a single day just goddamn studying. But regardless, getting onto lighter subjects, man. Malcolm Gladwell, Outliers. I don't know how to describe this book. I didn't search up the genre it was. I just kind of went for it because the title was just cool. This book pretty much it's not really a how-to book. It's more of just a bunch of knowledge on this thing, man.
I'm actually thinking of reading that book, and I did categorize that book under science/psychology.
Well, that's what I wrote here too. It's more of a scientific book because it really breaks down like the psychological aspects of people with great talents and
wow, that's dope.
And great drive. Pretty much the short summary of this book is our heritage and background, including our country of origin, dictates and influences our future decisions more than we know. That was actually written by myself. I took an AP English class in my senior year of high school. But pretty much, no, I'm saying pretty much here a lot, guys, but I don't want to spoil this book because it's that good. I want everyone to go into this book without really any knowledge, and I know that's going to be super hard, especially since I'm gonna give a summary, but I want you to go in with the book with minimal knowledge because that's how I went in, and it really blew me away.
Nah, it's looking like it might be one of the top books you've read so far this year, or might read this year.
I haven't read a book this good in a while.
Wow. Oh, wow.
I would say the last book I read this good was probably The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Wow. So definitely an amazing book.
That was probably like 5 books ago,
all right,
or something like that.
So what can you? So basically, it just goes into the scientific psychology of successful people.
That's right. Like I said, it really goes into just not even like the way they think, but more where they come from, because pretty much intelligence only plays so much of a factor when dealing with success. So as far as I'm in, it's only really discussed 2 key aspects, and that's economic background and cultural background.
And why are they so
important?
Yeah.
Well, it does use several case studies for each main point, but I'm gonna break down each one. So as far as economic background goes, it says that talent only plays so much of a factor, and then that at the end of the day, it's really how much time you spend on a certain, pretty much hobby. For example, it did use hockey players. As far as hockey players go, it says that the best hockey, let's say they're in Canada, right?
Yeah.
So Canadian hockey players, I mean, Canada, that is their sport, man. So they have all these leagues, they have these trainers. They really teach these kids like at age 13, 14. They're prepping them for the pros at that point. So it all comes down to their economic background, as well as surprisingly their age.
Now, by economic background, are you talking about like how rich they are?
Yeah, how rich they are.
You weren't mentioning anything about money, so.
Well, right. So let's go into hockey players because they like I said, they did use several cases. But hockey players was the first one they used. So hockey players, the day they were born actually influences how good they will be, because the earlier you're born, let's say January, February, March, that'll pretty much tell you where you'll end up. So there's a cutoff, right? And they're gonna have leagues where they'll be it's from this month to this month, and if you're born after this month, you have to go on to like the younger league, right? So the way it ends up is the older you are will mean you're better than the other kids, only because you'll be maybe bigger than the other kids, you'll be taller than the other kids, you'll definitely be older, which means a little bit more knowledge or even experience. So in that certain, let's say, league or age group, you're definitely going to be dominant if you're older, because just physically you'll be more superior, right?
Okay.
And at that point, like I said, hockey is a big thing in Canada, so they do have these scouts that they recruit kids to train them for like the Olympics or train them for the NHL. So at that point, simply by being older than the other kids, you'll be scouted more often, and you also have more opportunities. And like Malcolm did, I'm not sure if he conducted the research or if someone else did, but he pretty much summarized it that this plays true in a lot of cases. Like you'll see a lot of hockey players in the big leagues, like pros, they'll be born in like younger or earlier months.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I kind of had to disagree a little bit with that.
Well,
maybe
these are facts.
No, maybe they are facts, but I don't know. Because I kind of went through something similar like this.
Yeah.
You know, I was born in August.
Handicapped.
No. August.
Yeah.
I was born in August, so basically at a time in California, because that's where we're from, there's the cutoff is like you have to be born before September, because back over there in September, that's
You're talking about school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Talking about school, right? In September, I think that's when they start school. So basically, I feel like I think I was right on the brink of not having to wait like another year just to start school.
Yeah.
But I actually started early, so I'm actually usually always like the younger kid in my age group.
Yeah.
But anyways, I am like 1 year older than you.
Mm-hmm.
So at the time we were playing soccer, right? And then you were at the, like, let's say age group 7, and me, I could basically, my age group technically was age 8.
Yeah.
Now at the time, the age 8 people, they were a little bit, like you said, they were a little bit older than me, since I was usually the youngest.
Yeah.
When it came to months. So they were usually a little bit bigger than me physically. And I'm physically just born, I was born like skinny.
Yeah.
I'm a skinny dude, so then that's a disadvantage also. Anyways, at the time, my dad was like, well, you can also qualify for the age 7 group with your brother. You could go there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not technically, like, it's basically you can qualify for both age groups, but I think you will be better in age group 7. So I was like, okay. Now I went to age group 7, and it was true. I basically dominated in there. I was a good player. I felt really good. I was like one of the top scorers there. I was, scoring all the damn time. Like every week I was scoring. And one time, eventually we went to the finals and shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now in the finals, we were facing a younger group, and basically it was co-ed. So basically girls could play in the guys league too.
Yeah.
So one of the girls from the opposite team was actually one of my classmates' sister. So I remember being in class one day, and then the dude, which was my classmate,
Mm-hmm.
he used to play soccer too, but he was in the age group 8. So he basically would talk shit to me, saying how, like why am I taking it, like I'm not a real soccer player because I'm taking advantage of the little kids. Like why am I not playing in their age group? And the reason I'm bringing it up is that the way it makes it seem is, you would rather be a big fish in a small pond compared to being at least like a decent sized fish in a big size pond. like let's just say we pair two guys up, one that's actually always playing with their age 8 group, and then the one that's playing with the age 7 group. I feel the guy that's playing with the age 8 group in the bigger leagues is going to be better than the guy that's playing in the age 7 group, because he's going against like harder opponents and shit like that. Or maybe I'm wrong, but that's the way I see it.
Yeah, you probably are wrong, man, because I mean, you'll definitely improve if that's what you're trying to do, but you're not going to stand out, is what I'm saying.
No, you're not going to stand out, but you're going to be better than the other guy that's standing out in a weaker league.
Well, you're going to be better, yeah, but if you go down in that weaker league, if you're staying up there with the top guys, that's like saying, and this is an extreme example, but that's like saying this amateur, right, goes to play in the NHL. Yeah, he's going to learn a lot faster, but he's not going to be better than the NHL players. He's going to be benched because he's going to be terrible.
Well, the weak guy could be benched too.
What weak guy? What are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about the other guy, that guy that's playing with the... It doesn't matter. Just continue with your summary.
But regardless, that's how it plays out in, like, hockey.
No, I understand the concept. What I'm saying is that I'm not talking about... Because I think what you're talking about is marketability or whatever. Like, he's more marketable since he's shining out. You're able to like recruit him, since he's basically marketing himself right, because
he's not marketing himself. He's just better because he's bigger. And hockey is
a weaker team.
Hockey is no. Why is it a weaker team? That's his age group. He's just older because he was born. But it's not him that decided to go down to a younger league. That's his league. But there's just a cutoff, you know.
Okay.
Let's just say, you're in this age group, you're from January to December. The January kids are going to be older than the December kids.
But I know. What I'm saying is that it's stupid how, like, just like a 3 month, or like, I'm not, obviously that's like an 8 month difference. But I'm just saying, like, I think it's kind of stupid that just they're born in the same year, but because they're born in like 5 month difference, they're in different leagues.
Well, that's just the way it goes, man. Unless you're going to have like from January to June or something like that. But even then, there's always going to be a difference. There's always going to be older kids. There's always going to be younger kids.
Anyways, and continue.
And especially since hockey is a physical game, you know, the bigger kids are going to crush the little kids. But regardless, that just goes into play how, I guess in this case, it's not necessarily economic background, but there's definitely going to be some advantages in life that you're just not going to be able to necessarily fight. Well, in this case, it is an economic background. Let's say Bill Gates, right? Bill Gates, I think richest guy in the planet or something like that, founder of Microsoft. He was giving up these opportunities, and obviously his story is going to be all, well, you know, he worked hard, he spent hours upon hours coding, which he did, but he was also given opportunities because of his economic background, and his parents were wealthy. He had the opportunity to go to a wealthy school, and back then, you know, there was this computer boom, right? Like in the 1980s, where pretty much computers came up and they pretty much dominated. So Bill Gates, due to his economic background, because, for example, let's say you're poor, right?
Yeah.
Instead of spending hours and hours like Bill being able to code right in his room, he could do that because his parents could provide for him. If you're poor, those hours that you could spend coding like Bill, you're instead going to have to do it to work. You're going to instead spend those hours working, like, to provide for your family.
This is crazy because there was actually a study. And this is fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah.
There's actually a study that I read probably 2 months ago. Probably 2-3 months ago, man. And I think I actually told you about this. And it was saying how usually the richer someone is, the better. Like, let's just say you're rich, right? And you go into the arts, you're going to be better than someone that is poor and into the arts.
Yeah.
Remember I told you about this?
No, I don't remember that, but no, I can see why that was.
Yeah, well, basically, the way I ran across it is that this actress was saying how her dad and her mom own 2 football teams or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? That's fucking insane, right? And then the guys were like talking about how this girl, basically she came out rich, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And she's a good actress. And I guess there was a study saying that exactly what you're saying, that the rich person they get to go to like the top schools or whatever, and maybe artists, to be a good artist, you don't even have to go to art school, right? But she has all these opportunities, and she can go and do internships and experience all this shit and not having to worry about basically I'm getting paid shit because she already has money. She doesn't need to get paid. She's just doing it because she loves the art.
Yeah.
But poor artists, they can't go to these dope internships or whatever because they don't pay well and they have to live. So they basically allocate their time more to making money in order to live than using that time to basically become better artists.
Right.
And do
No,
this.
that's definitely what it is, man. It even says here, and this just blew my mind because I never knew this. Obviously, it says it takes 10,000 hours for someone to become elite. So it says 10,000 hours is the magic number of greatness.
I don't agree with that though.
And that usually correlates to about 10 years of experience. So
Wrong.
Wrong. Okay, well, go talk to Malcolm about it. At this point, 10,000 hours, that's a lot of time doing a certain skill, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot of time refining that skill, improving upon that skill. And you're going to need a lot of support, pretty much, whether it be economic support with money. You need money to spend all that time doing whatever, pretty much working on your craft. So that time, those 10,000 hours, that has to come through pretty much special programs or just extraordinary opportunities is what the book says. So Bill, for example, Bill Gates, he had an extraordinary opportunity because he had wealthy parents who could provide for him and send him to better programs, not better programs, better schools. But also, I believe he also had like the opportunity to go to like these summer camps where they pretty much just spent their time coding away. And a poorer person, as harsh as it sounds, is not going to have the same chance to go to that summer camp, because I'm sure that summer camp at that point, like in the 1970s, was very expensive, knowing how rare computers were in those days. So that, for example, or even back to the hockey players, those recruiters that are recruiting these young kids, they're going to take them to these special training camps or whatever to train them to become better. And without those coaches or whatever, how can you expect to get that good? Or how can you expect to reach your 10,000 hours? So in life, there's going to be these opportunities. And I know at that point, it just sounds pretty generic. And you're like, well, obviously. But if you really take the time to think about it, man, your culture, not your cultural background, but your economic background, and just it can really depend on what day you're born, will really dictate where you end up in life and whether you have the opportunity to reach those 10,000 hours. Yeah. It's insane, man. And then the book also goes into like a whole cultural background, really where you're from, like the country you're born in, will really choose like what kind of person you develop to be. So it's just crazy. I don't want to get too deep into it because I don't want to obviously take up too much time, but I don't want to also ruin it. But pretty much, if it sounds interesting to you guys, trust me, it gets way better. I'm not even done with the book at this point. I don't feel comfortable giving it a rating just yet, but by next week I'm gonna be done with this book, so I'm not gonna even talk about it anymore. But definitely follow us on our LevelXPodcast Twitter page. We will be posting the books on there. So, David, one more time, what book did you read? Or what book are you currently reading?
I am reading Thinking Strategically by Avinash Dixit.
And we did post that book a week ago. I will post it again. And then I'm reading Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. So definitely go follow us.
And if you guys are reading any books, go follow us on our Twitter.
Let us know what you're reading.
What's the Twitter handle?
The Twitter handle, one more time, LevelXPodcast.
I spell that out though.
Oh, LevelX Podcast, LEVELX Podcast, PODCAST. And I am going to be posting my review of Outliers. Not review, but I'll give it a rating once I'm done with it, guys.
As well as me. But if you follow us or whatever, definitely, link us to whatever you're reading. We're interested to see what you guys are reading. Also, if you guys have any questions or if you guys are looking for books to read, you can always hit us up on our Twitter, or you can actually email us as well. Our email is always open, in case you guys ever want to talk about anything, need advice, or even need any linking to any dope articles that we read.
And one more promotion for Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. It also recently just started diving into why Asians are good at math. No racial, but it's not just a stereotype, guys. It really is a thing that it's real, and he provides facts as to why it is. So definitely interesting as well. But to move on to something lighter, David, another thing I did find interesting this week.
What'd you find out?
And it's definitely going to be a good one because I went onto watchmojo.com.
Oh my God, those idiots.
And they had a list of the top 10 movies that will become classics in the future. I wanted to run this list by you, and I want to know your opinions on whether you agree with this or not. I'm going to start with number 10, which is Mad Max Fury Road is going to become a classic in the future. Now, I'm going to read this list. You tell me which ones you agree with, which ones you are saying, no way, Jose. Mad Max at number 10. Number 9 is Birdman. Number 8 is Toy Story 3. 7, The Departed. 6, the movie Up. 5, Inside Out. 4, Guardians of the Galaxy. 3, Avatar. 2, The Dark Knight. And 1, Inception. As you know, to become a classic, there needs to be a certain amount of time that passes, as well as longevity of the movie. Whether the movie will be good 50 years from now, or whether it's just great because of its time. Now, the only movie that I disagree with here is Avatar. I feel a lot of that movie has to do with like it being a visual masterpiece. But other than that, man, in 50 years, the visuals of everything will be so amazing visually that Avatar will just kind of blend into the background. But anyways, that's the only really movie that I had any critiques with, man, other than Guardians of the Galaxy. But what do you think, man? Any movies that stand out here?
Me is saying shut the fuck up. Now, I think Avatar definitely should be up there on there.
What the hell?
Because it was like revolutionary. It's kind of like
because
is that the same reason?
Technology.
It's the same reason why Toy Story.
You're stupid. You're stupid. Toy Story was a great movie though. It had a lot of great themes in there, man.
No, but one of the main reasons why it became successful, and I don't know if you ever dived into the history of it.
I did an assignment on it.
Okay, but I basically, read the Steve Nash.
Steve Nash?
Because you were bringing up the
basketball player.
Steve Jobs biography, and when he, Pixar was coming up, that was one of the newest technologies ever, like creating that type of dope animation that wasn't ever seen before. So when they released that movie, it was such a fucking new technology that no one has ever seen before. And it's kind of like, I think your argument for that is so stupid. Like, just because in the future everything's gonna be so technologically advanced that everything's gonna have like amazing visuals.
Yeah.
But it's like the same thing with nowadays. Today, it's like we have so many dope animations, but that doesn't make it any less, like the original Toy Story, any less than what it is compared to like the other movies that are dope visually.
Well, Steve Jobs is a hoax because he was giving these economic opportunities that I wasn't given, and so that's why he became the man that he did. But I'm talking about Toy Story 3 in specific, not just Toy Story Toy Story the original is a classic, no doubt about it. But they're saying Toy Story 3, the movie that almost made you cry.
Yeah, I'm not saying Toy Story 3 isn't a classic. You're saying Avatar.
I'm saying Avatar is not a classic because overall it was a generic movie about.
Well, to you, but to most people, it was amazing. Like,
visually, I agree.
I like the storyline.
You like the storyline?
It's like me saying, well, I didn't really like Toy Story 3. This one.
But Toy Story 3 almost made you cry.
No, it didn't. I'm telling you, I didn't really like it.
Okay, well, I'm just saying Avatar.
You're the only one out of like 7 billion people that didn't like Avatar.
I didn't say I didn't like Avatar. I said it was great, but I'm just saying a lot of that had to do with the way it looked. Like, it looked awesome because of the effects and stuff like that. But other than that, I mean, it was pretty much Pocahontas. And I've seen that story before, so it wasn't like an incredibly.
You're just trying to bring up some type of whack ass hoax.
No, I'm saying like credibility. I'm saying like Toy Story 3 original storyline, The Departed. I never saw a storyline like that. Like all these other movies that are on this list kind of have original storylines, but Avatar is the one that just feels bland because I've seen that before. I mean, obviously you're gonna have recurring themes in all these other movies, but Avatar really pretty much stole beat for beat Pocahontas. Like I don't understand that.
Take us to the Pocahontas plotline.
Well, pretty much these outsiders invade this foreign land and they try to
steal. Characters.
Who?
The characters of Pocahontas.
No, I'm not talking about characters, bro. I'm talking about plot.
No, but I'm telling you, can you bring up the characters, please?
There's Pocahontas, there's John Smith, and then it's pretty much just the Native Americans and the freaking Spaniards.
I'm talking about the leader of the Indians.
The Indians, bro. Come on, let's not go racial here. Let's call them Native Americans, man. They're not Indians. You fucking racist. No, man.
What's the leader? What's the leader's name?
Dude, I don't know. I saw that movie like 3 years ago. There's no way I'm gonna remember the leader's name. Let's just go ahead and call him Henry. For all I care, I don't give a damn, man.
So now racist.
How's that racist?
How's a Native American called Henry?
All right, well, what would a Native American be
I
called?
don't know, but not Henry.
Oh, so how do you know? You just said you don't know.
Because I have Native American friends and I don't know.
Okay, so then what? Then how do you know their name's not Henry?
Because
why can't their name be Henry? Is what I'm asking you. Like you're trying to be racist.
No, I'm not.
All right, so then how do you know that they can't be named
why
Henry? Why not Henry? I don't get it.
No, because I'm just saying. Like,
is Henry not a generic name?
It's like calling you Bob and you're Mexican.
So now you're saying my name has to be like Juan or Jose.
No, I'm not saying it has to be. I'm not saying.
No, you're saying it'd be freaking crazy if my name was Bob.
No, I'm just saying it's not logical because
logical. What does logic have to do with it?
Because at the time they're not. If you think about it, they're not really Native Americans, dude. Because it's back in the settlers' time. So how am I being racist by saying they're Indians? Because they are technically.
They're Native
Indians.
Americans.
At the time, America wasn't even found.
Well, Well, at that time, the movie was made like in the 1970s or something like that, or 1980s.
No, but what I'm saying, the movie like timeline.
Well, at that point, it's
how they Native Americans when they're not. America wasn't found in the movie.
It's stupid to make that argument because at that point, what the hell? It doesn't matter because we are in America now. So that's like saying forget everything you know and just like and then just what would they call them? The indigenous people or something like that, because we can call them that if you want, but pretty much at this point, I mean, come on, bro, they're Native Americans. Because
at this point, but what I'm saying is like,
well, why am I supposed to go into that movie being like, oh well, let's just forget America exists?
Because at the time, America wasn't there. Is what I'm saying.
But why does that matter?
Because I thought we were talking about like that storyline.
Well, we are talking about that storyline
and everything about the movie. So what I'm saying is like, it's kind of dumb to be like, oh, they're Native Americans when. In that movie, they weren't actually Native Americans.
Okay, well, what does that have to do with anything? This is just, I don't even know what argument you're trying to make. I'm just trying to say that Avatar was pretty much the plot of Pocahontas, so not only does that make it unoriginal, but it also just kind of detracts from the movie and its classic status, or apparent classic status, to watch Mojo here. I'm just saying, Avatar is not going to be a class. I mean, I already forgot about that movie, to be honest. I forgot it existed.
I just think either... what's that fucking shit? Inception.
Inception is definitely a classic, man.
I don't know. I will have to move it out and also Inside Out. Those are my choices.
Oh, Inside Out. I can see that. Well, what about Up then? Is Up a classic to you? Because honestly, if I'm being honest, I like that opening scene.
That's about it.
It almost made me cry, and then that's about it. I mean, obviously people are.
I know
the characters were awesome.
The reason I kind of still think it's cool. Maybe I think I'll bring it out too, actually. But I don't want to say it's out because I didn't really watch the damn movie like full on out. I didn't finish watching the movie. And it kind of bored me out a little bit because of the old guy's character.
What about Mad Max, man? I mean, this movie was... People considered this like the best of last year. I felt a little underwhelmed getting out of the theater for Mad Max. Maybe my expectations were so high.
I thought it was good, and man, I think it matched up with all the other Mad Maxes from the trilogy, but I actually didn't watch the main one, which they say that it's the best one.
The second one?
Yeah, so I had to actually watch it again. Or actually watch it.
I would put The Big Short in there, man, because I just saw The Big Short recently. That movie was amazing, and I think The Big Short had... It was
you're just a sensitive dude, bro. Like,
why?
No, you're a little sensitive.
If I was sensitive, I would probably put Titanic in here, but Titanic is already a classic, thank God. But let's see number 12, because Boyhood is number 12, and it didn't make the top 10. Do you have an issue with that?
No, I like Boyhood, man. I think
should it be a classic?
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, there you have it, guys. Check out the top 10 list. I will link it on our Twitter account, so definitely follow us on the LevelXPodcast Twitter account. David, anything else you got to say for today?
I am going to be linking you guys to a dope article that I came across just last night. It's basically 52 things that you can do from now on every week to improve your life. Let me actually get the article. Yeah, the article is titled 52 Ways to Make Life 68% More Rewarding by Johnson Key. And it basically talks about a rundown on how everyone says, you should improve like 1% every day. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to be able to, after 365 days, you're going to be able to improve like 3,000 or something percent, right? Mm-hmm. The way he looks at it is like, well, instead of improving 1% each day, which is a lot of people, it's a little bit hard to do, because if you think about it, like being that consistent and you're barely starting off, it's a little bit hard. So how he does it is like, well, you should increase 1% every 52 or every week.
Yeah.
So by the end of those 52 weeks, you're going to basically improve like 68%. If you span that over 5 years, you're still going to be coming up with a little or above 1,000% of improvement in yourself. So he basically gives you like a rundown of all the things that you can do every week. So it's basically one challenge a week on how to improve yourself. Now it categorizes each task by like subject matter. So things that you can do so you can improve like mentally, physically, spiritually. So all types of categories. So I'm not gonna run down through all the damn list, but I will be linking you guys to the Level X Podcast Twitter account so you guys can read that. And if you guys need a push and you guys don't know what to do to improve yourself, like I said, this is just one thing a week that you guys can be doing so you guys can improve yourself and improve your life.
And that's beautiful, man. And I don't know, don't ask me why, but that reminded me of Eddie Guerrero, his cheating, death, stealing life. He said, if you asked him to become sober for the rest, because he had an alcohol addiction, and he was like,
oh my God.
Oh my God, yeah. If you asked him to be like sober for the rest of his life, he's like, damn, well, that's a tall ass mountain to climb. But if you told him just be sober for today, he was like, well, I can do that. And that's pretty much what it takes, man. Just take it one day at a time.
Yeah. So I think I don't know if you want to add anything else besides that. You're getting married. Anything else?
The Green Room was fucking awesome, guys. Green Room movie.
Don't make me slap you, bro.
Oh, that's messed up. No, Green Room, guys. Go watch Green Room. Go support good movies. Don't go support that trash that is Captain America. So, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna go watch Captain America: Civil War tonight.
Yeah, but we actually did go watch the Green Room last week.
Green Room movie of the year 2017.
No,
Green Room
he's lying,
movie
but
of the year.
that movie was amazing. Definitely check it out. We are going to be watching Captain America today. But yeah, man, thank you guys for listening. Also, shout out to our sponsors for supporting the show. Shout out to you guys.
And shout out to you, David, for coming to do this podcast with me today. Put it here, partner.
Yeah, man. Well, we'll see you guys next week. Hit us up on our Level X podcast to let us know what you guys are reading. And stay healthy.
Hey guys, if you like this episode of the Level X podcast, make sure to definitely leave a review. We are on iTunes, we are on SoundCloud, and we are on YouTube. You just search up Level X Podcast, and also leave a comment if you're on YouTube on what you liked, what you think we can improve on, anything you would like us to talk about. Also, if you have any questions, please email us at levelxpodcast@gmail.com, and we'll be sure to respond to you or even answer it on the show. Follow us on Instagram at Vincent Studios, VNCT Studios, for any updates. Also on Twitter at LevelXPodcast. We will definitely be posting on there, also responding to questions and any comments you guys might have. We will also be posting the books we talked about on this episode of the Level X Podcast on Twitter. We'll be posting the links on where you can purchase those books. So definitely check us out there. And thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you guys next week.